Good Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Well, we're having a big storm here in the Northeast this week, but we've had storms appearing in Europe going back to Switzerland with basically taking the cap off the Swiss franc. Then last week we had the European Central Bank in here going and putting a QE going into 2016. So when we look at that, what kind of impacts have we seen? Because as I've been saying to bankers, we want to be watching these foreign currencies as to the direction of where our longer term rates are headed. So when we look at short-term rates, the U.S. in here at a positive 0.16%, Japan negative 0.01%, Germany negative 0.17%, the UK being positive at 0.29%, actually higher than the US, and the Swiss at a negative 1.23%. When we move out onto the curve, is that in that 5-year area, Germany is at 0.01%, Switzerland negative 0.79%. After the Swiss franc had their cap taken off, we then moved to their 10-year being a negative 2%. When we look at it from the standpoint of other rates, is that Germany 0.37 compared to the 10-year in Japan being at 0.22. And the thing that we've been pointing out, we'll see this in a second, is that the UK is at a positive 1.5%. And look at where the US is, of course, right around 1.80% in here today. This would still suggest to me that there's a possibility that our U.S. Treasury 10-year could drop back down again. Remember, we got to 1.71%. We jumped back up to 1.89% last week, but now it's come back down to 1.8. So we want to look at the direction of which way these international rates are going. So we've plotted it out here. And one point that I've made previously, look at us compared to the UK, right, going evenly, and then we started to diverge in here where our rate, as I just said, is 30 basis points higher than where the UK is. When we look at in terms of the Swiss franc, amazingly enough, it's been keeping right along with Japan, but then when we had the cap taken off, that 10-year rate, as we said, actually went negative and went away from where the Japanese rates are. But look at the overall trend of these rates. And we see these rates all moving down on trend, which would suggest still that the Treasury could go lower in here in terms of our Treasury. And finally, the point being, we want to be watching those commodity prices. Once again, oil being a big part of it, but when we look at the broad basket of commodities, interestingly enough, we have now gone below where we were at the Great Recession's lowest point. So what this spells in my mind is a possibility that rates could go lower in here. But once again, probably staying around this level just based upon all of these different factors. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Have a great week.